You're watching Alaska's news source.
As we come on the air, we continue following breaking news of an apparent assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump during his Pennsylvania rally, which is north of Pittsburgh in Butler. In a Truth Social statement, the former president says he's fine after he says a bullet pierced his right ear. The images are tough for many people to see of blood dripping down the presumptive Republican nominee's face before the Secret Service rushed him away. He has now been released from the hospital. This happened right at about 2 p.m. Alaska time. Former president saying in his statement that he is fine. His son adding that he's in good spirits. The Alaska Republican Party posting on Facebook within the hour saying that President Trump is looking forward to joining his supporters in Milwaukee as the RNC continues with their convention to nominate him to be on the Republican ticket for president. The Secret Service saying in a statement that the shooter is dead and was shooting from an elevated position outside the rally. The Secret Service also confirming a spectator was killed. And NBC News reporting that 2 others are in critical condition. Several witnesses describing to reporters this afternoon seeing all of that. Here is part of the former President Trump, his statement, posting on Truth Social tonight. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for the rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed and also the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known about at this time about the shooter who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. A local mayor witnessed all of this at that rally.
I heard the first one, I heard the second, and then I realized what it was that was happening, so I just kind of shoved my wife down to the ground and put myself over her while I scanned around me, trying to figure out where exactly these shots were coming from. You know, my fear was that there was somebody inside and close to us that was firing. So I looked around, and during that scan, you know, I looked over at the president.
And that shock you heard there shared by President Joe Biden. He addressed the nation late this afternoon saying he's not yet able to reach former President Trump.
Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
Again, President Biden at that point saying he had not been able to reach the former president. The president went on to say the bottom line is that the Trump rally should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. We will read a statement from Vice President Kamala Harris later in the newscast, but first we have team coverage of what's happening. Alaska political leaders have been reacting all afternoon. This breaking news is happening as the Republican National Convention kicks off on Monday in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where many Alaska Republican leaders and delegates are gathered there right now. Georgina Fernandez reached out to multiple state leaders, including the governor and congressional delegation, and updates us on what she learned. Georgina.
Joe, that tone of shock is shared in the initial statements from Alaska leaders we've heard from so far. That video is hard for so many of us to watch. So far, as we've reached out for reaction, we've heard from the governor's office and members of the congressional delegation and the state party. Here is a statement from the governor's spokesperson sent us. The governor is saying, our thoughts and prayers are for the President Trump, his family, and those around him. The world is outraged. This is not how we settle our differences, and I hope law enforcement brings those responsible to justice soon. The governor going on to saying, I join millions of my fellow Americans who hope the president makes a speedy recovery. Here's what Senator Sullivan told me on the phone a short time ago.
It's so shocking and a sad day for our country, but, you know, we're Americans, and resorting to political violence should not, there's no place for that in our country.
Senator Lisa Murkowski saying this within the last hour on social media. What we saw today in Pennsylvania was horrifying. This is the United States of America. There's no place for violence in politics. We're all praying for the health and safety of the former President Trump, the family of the bystander who was killed, and everyone who was at the rally. Representative Mary Patola also responded to what happened in Pennsylvania. She said, "This is an assassination attempt, plain and simple. America is better than this. My thoughts are with President Trump and his family and all at the rally." The Alaska Republican Party also sharing their reaction on social media. They show what is becoming a viral picture of the former president with his fists in the air right after shooting, writing online how this would not stop their support, standing with the former President Trump's re-election bid. As far as Republican National Convention, we've just heard interviewed Alaska's Republican National Committee Chair. I'll play that out for you tonight at 10. Joe?
Thank you so much, Georgina. Our Tyler Lane has been monitoring reaction from leaders outside Alaska and continues our team coverage tonight. Let's start with what all the Secret Service had to say this afternoon and tonight. Tyler.
Well, Joe, you mentioned part of what the Secret Service confirmed. Let's take you through their full statement. In it, they say, in part, during former President Trump's campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, on the evening of July 13th at approximately 6:15 p.m., a suspected shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside of the rally venue. Going on to say, one spectator was killed. 2 spectators were critically injured. The incident is currently under investigation, and the Secret Service has formally notified the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're also hearing from national political leaders. Vice President Kamala Harris also releasing a statement. She says she's relieved the former president is not seriously hurt and is praying for all those who have been injured. She went on to say, violence such as this has no place in our nation. We must all condemn this abhorrent act and do our part to ensure that it does not lead to more violence. Former President Barack Obama saying there is absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. Although we don't know yet what exactly happened, we should all be relieved that former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt and use this moment to recommit ourselves to civility and respect in our politics. And as you can see here, the reactions continue across the country, these coming in just across the day, including from Donald Trump Jr., Senator Bernie Sanders, presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy, and former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. These just some of the universal statements condemning the shooting at the former President Trump's rally. Joe?
Thank you so much, Tyler. We'll continue following this breaking news through this newscast and through the night at alaskasnewssource.com on our mobile app and tonight at 10.